Good as it gets. Here we are in the Glass House's studio. Look who we got.
Oh,
You want me to put that picture over here?
no, that's fine. Look at there.
Yeah, look at there.
Okay.
How are you?
James Bolden Jr. And this is my mentor here, Henry, in the
Henry Austin McClure.
Henry Austin McClure.
Yeah.
Yes, very good.
Good to see you.
Good to see you, Henry.
I appreciated your phone call today.
Well, I've had an epiphany, Henry.
All right.
I've had an epiphany.
I like them.
I went to the Harbor Freight store today to get a fire.
Hey, hang on just a second. Hey, Ziggy, turn off the radio. That was annoying me.
To get a fire extinguisher.
Yeah?
And people were nice. Hello. I said, hello, sir. I said, excuse me. When I walked past him, he says, yes, sir. And Henry, you're not the only one that indicated that I should run for mayor. This was indicated to me some 20 odd years ago.
So are we officially throwing the hat in the ring?
Well, we want to get some type. Today is about getting some type of.
Are we opening up the exploratory committee?
There it is, right there.
There we are.
There we are, right
we'll
there.
We'll put it all in political jargon.
Yes, yes.
So you heard it right here on the Henry McClure Live Show. We are opening up the exploratory committee to make this young man mayor of our town.
Well, I am not so young anymore, but I'm just a couple of years under you.
Well, now that we got Bobby Kennedy looking out for our health, we're going to live longer.
Yes, well, he's looking out for I read that article this morning.
What'd you read?
He wants to remove the new drug that's killing people. What's the name of that?
You mean the COVID vaccine?
Fentanyl?
Oh, yeah.
Fentanyl. He admitted that he was on heroin for 15 or so.
Yeah, when your uncle and your dad just got assassinated by the United States government, it'd make you kind of wonder.
It would make you kind of kooky.
Yeah.
And in my case, when they treated my father the way that they did when he died, it make you kind of kooky.
We're trying the Nero mints for energy and focus. I'd like to pick them up as a client.
Well, thank you, Henry.
Little advertising.
Thank you, Henry.
Well, yeah, because we're going to need some money to get you in office.
Is that what we need?
Yeah, and I'm not bankrolling it, but I'll contribute.
Well,
you got time, talent, and treasure. Those are things that you can donate, right?
Yes.
Time, talent, and treasure.
Yes.
And I'm telling you, there isn't a better forum for change and new ideas than this show.
Good.
Everywhere I go, people come up to me and some of them, hey, this lady the other day, she goes, how you coming on your church sale? You know? And then I ran into a lady last night. She goes, you know, I appreciate you going down to city council.
Yes.
And telling the truth.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
So we're going to need to raise some money for you.
We need to raise money. What do we need money for?
Because the chamber and the Greater Topeka Partnership, they're going to come at you with all this money because it's they're like the deep state or the bureaucracy of the city, and they're not going to they can't control you.
Correct. You heard it right there. They cannot control me at this stage.
Well, wait, I don't think they can control you at any stage.
Well, you heard it right there from Henry.
Yeah.
Okay,
well, that's
good,
what
Henry.
I like about you.
Well, very good, Henry.
You know, I tell you, you know who I would have loved to have met?
Yes, sir.
Your father.
I was very fortunate to have met him myself.
Well, I get it. No, sometimes I feel that way about my dad.
Very good. Very good. Very
good.
I
had a...
very good.
You know, at some point in time, you have to forgive people in your past so you can move on.
Well, absolutely.
Because a lot of people, I think, go around with a chip on their shoulder.
Yes.
Because they don't want to change personally. But if I keep blaming it on that guy over there,
yes,
the boogeyman.
Yes.
And people, I was having um, it was a top secret meeting today. We won't mention any names.
Very good.
But it was like really asking me, like, what are your goals, Henry?
Mm-hmm.
And really, one of them wasn't to be mayor, during that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a good real estate broker.
Yes.
And I just need to continue to be a good real estate broker.
Well, I am a good carpet cleaner. And I enjoy cleaning people's carpets within the community. Most of the people in the community knows me as JB. And I enjoy that. However, when I began to invest my winnings from my hard work,
Yeah, I like that.
that I had studied for 20 years. And then when I was able to make the money, because my father had raised me to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. One of the last things I asked my father before he passed away, I said, Dad, how come you didn't pay me more? He said, I gave you the training, son. That's what I was left with, which is quite a bit.
A guy asked me the other day about, you know, the money that May Siegel had and Dana K. Anderson and the Capola guys, the mall guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the money I had.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I got the training, and you can't take that training away from me that they gave me.
That is correct.
And I've actually taken recovery from being a drug addict, and my drug addictions. You're a highly functioning alcoholic until you're not. And it's usually a screeching hole. But you can find alcoholics to do deals with, and then you end up doing deals with alcoholics because you're meeting in the bar. You know what I mean?
Is that how it works?
Yeah. Yeah. So there becomes a certain point of time where you really have to reinvent yourself when you're clean and sober. And I'm almost a decade.
Well, Henry, congratulations.
Well, God willing.
It is amazing because I did not know you during those time periods. I met you when you were clean and sober. I met you when we were downtown. We were standing outside of
County Commission.
County Commission.
You know who called me the other day?
Well, you just interrupted me, Henry.
I'm sorry. It was the county commissioner.
We was outside County Commission, and lo and behold, you prayed for me, Henry. And here I am today.
And I'm sorry I interrupted you. And I'll pray for you again.
Well, you prayed for me,
Your Honor.
And when you prayed for me, Henry, I was still not recovered from my father's death.
Really?
And we won't go into that.
Okay, that's fine.
But I was.
Well, this is big.
I thought I was recovered, but I was not fully recovered.
I prayed, but also
you didn't know about my father's death. I think at that
no,
time.
I didn't know you from Adam.
You didn't know me from Adam at that time.
And I'm telling you, and then I had a chill go through my spine. That when you get that chill.
It's the Holy Ghost is what we call it.
Oh yeah,
the Holy Ghost. We Baptists call it the Holy Ghost. Yeah,
I like the Holy Ghost.
But Henry, the reason I'm here today.
Well, hey, can I interrupt you?
Go ahead. Go right ahead.
Because I'm gonna do it anyway.
Go ahead.
Kevin Cook called me the other day.
Okay.
And we got to talk about something.
Okay.
And I'm gonna ask for his help on something.
Very good.
And I'm gonna pray that he helps me.
Well, the key, the wisdom. See, Father would always say, which I'm going to share with the general public. When I said, Father, how was you able to figure out some of those things? And he would say, Lord, he would say, son, I would ask the Lord for wisdom. Henry, I see that wisdom in you, is what I'm here to say.
Thanks.
When you said, forgive one another, that's wisdom. Go ahead.
Hey, what would your dad say about you running for mayor? Would we get any money out of him? Would he help us?
My dad was he didn't talk very much. My dad didn't talk very much. in order for me to hang people, I had to ask questions. When he was young, he would say, "Son, you sure ask a lot of questions."
Yeah.
But as far as what he would say today is a very good question.
Well, I'd be the first one asking him for money. You wouldn't have to, because
Well,
I'm going to ask you guys. Let's raise him some money, and let's make you mayor.
Well, before we get to the money aspect, Henry, eventually I'm hoping that we can get some call-ins over a matter of time
Okay.
where they can call in. I don't know if this session's set up for that or not,
Well, we can.
but hopefully
We'll give him your phone number.
Well, I was talking about the session.
Well, because you're going to have to take calls. That's going to be part of this whole thing.
Well, if
they're going to call your ass at all hours of the day, Your Honor.
If you want to call me, it's under JB Carpet and Upholstery Care if you're computer literate. Just go to JB Carpet and Upholstery Care. That's
another advertisement.
Well,
hey, the Today Show is brought to you by JB
Carpet and Upholstery Care.
Yeah. Hey, come on, Mo Winkle. Let's give him a job, you know. You did give me a fair bid to help. With that.
Thank you.
So we got the painting going on over there.
Okay, very good.
Did you know we're at the Glass Houses studio here? That's what I call this place.
Oh, very good.
The Glass House.
Henry is just an individual that you just can't help but enjoy yourself being around. I mean, that's me speaking.
Thank you.
One of my mentors of 20 years had passed away in 2015. And he could talk to me for 8 hours straight.
When did he pass?
2015.
What day or year?
I don't know.
Month?
I don't know.
Let's look it up.
Oh, I can't look it up today.
Well,
why do you want to?
Well, because that's when I transcended, was May 2nd.
2015?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. There's no coincidences.
I know.
There's no coincidences.
You know, the Indians.
He could make me laugh. He could make anyone laugh for 8 hours. He talks straight for 8 hours. Can you do that?
Well, I do it. That's what I do.
No, so you can do that.
Yeah.
I'm like my dad. I don't talk a lot. I talked to the man at Mr. Schwartz's office, his head man.
Schwartz?
Yeah.
Greg Schwartz?
Greg Schwartz, yeah. And
well, Greg is the man.
Yeah, but his head man. It's underneath him.
Were you talking about that iconic footbridge that he wants to build?
Well, no, the gentleman that works for him. I'm sorry.
Okay, because we can talk about that, Your Honor.
Well,
view. I want your views on the iconic footbridge.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm not. I don't.
I'll help you.
I don't have any knowledge of the iconic footbridge, unless you're talking about the.
Well, do you think that
the Quincy Viaduct? Is that what you?
No. But do you think putting a footbridge from Noto to the riverfront would be an expenditure that you'd make as a mayor, support as a mayor?
I would have to look more into the details. I have no knowledge.
Well, I walked across the bridge.
Would you do it? Let me ask you.
No.
Okay.
No, it's a waste of money because what these guys do, Mr. Schwartz comes up with these iconic ideas, then gets the design money, and whether we do it or not.
I'm not here to badger Mr. Schwartz now. Greg Schwartz has been good to me.
Well, that's good.
But
I'll badger.
What I was going to say was,
I actually like him. He's a good guy.
He's a good guy. What I was going to say was that his head man had. I was telling him.
Now, who's his head man?
I can't call his name. I don't know his name right
now. All
right.
right.
But he said to me,
"Hey, if you're watching head man of Greg Schwartz, call in and say hello.
Now
go through JB Carpet Cleaning."
Now he said that quiet men get things done. And so when he was talking about my dad, I told him my dad was a quiet man. He said, quiet men get things done. So I'm not, being around my dad for 16 hours a day at an early age, working for him, I took on a lot of his attributes. Quiet is one of them. So I'm not that talkative. But I believe that we can get things done. One of the things that I'm looking at in the city of Topeka is the roads. the holes in the roads. My father was an asphalt. He knew how to mix asphalt. He was specialized in it. Came in from Michigan. And the key of it is, I don't understand asphalt. Don't let me start there. But the key is getting experts in that do. We can no longer stand for the good old boy system. We can no longer stand for that. We want the best and the qualified. The good old boy system, if you're a part of the good old boy system and you want to continue to be a part of the good old boy system, do not vote for JB. JB is for the poor, the handicapped. JB would probably be considered poor or middle income, but it's okay to consider me poor because the Lord is where JB gets his strength from. And all of you all believe in the Lord, you know what I'm talking about. The reason I'm here today is because I'm sick and tired of seeing the same old. You've heard that term before.
Same old, same old.
Okay.
And I'll tell you what.
Go ahead, Henry.
I am so not part of the good old boy
Very
network.
good. I'm glad to hear that, Henry.
You know, I'm
glad to hear that.
That's
a good thing, Henry.
Well, in theory, I should be a blue blood.
Okay.
No, because
yeah.
My priest, McClure was a priest originally, discharged here in the Civil War. His son was a judge and integrated schools.
Good.
My dad had a doctorate in tax law.
Yes.
But if you're Oscar Stauffer's attorney, you're still just a working man.
Good.
You know what?
Good.
You really are.
Good. Now, my father, his name, they called him Jim Bolden. I don't want to speak too much about him, but he is my father. And I don't feel like he got the proper burial when he died.
Was he a veteran?
No, he wasn't a veteran. However, it was during the COVID epidemic. And people were afraid to come out because of the COVID.
Were you?
No, I was there. I have no fear. And the reason I have no fear is because the Lord will protect his own.
Well, yeah, I mean, and the whole COVID thing was a farce anyway. You know?
I don't know.
I do.
Know. Okay.
I believe it in my heart. You know, it came out that Fauci had a deal with the Chinese people to make that gain of function COVID, and it got out. It escaped the lab in Wuhan, and everybody hated Trump. The one thing I didn't understand about Trump too was, you're on a tightrope of like whether you can make a virus for it or not. I mean, like they were worried about Bobby Kennedy removing the polio vaccine. Well, you know how much research went into the polio vaccine?
I've talked to people about
that. But there wasn't enough research. You weren't going to stick me. I've never had a flu shot.
Oh, you've never had a Well, what about as a baby?
Well, I was born at 59.
Your mom did get you.
Yeah, whatever it took me to get inoculated to get out of the hospital, I had that.
That's right.
Whatever they were doing in Stormont Vale.
That's right.
On July 14th.
That's right.
Because I was born July 13th at 11:58.
Okay. A.M. or P.M.?
P.M.
Okay.
So whatever they were doing on the 14th, they had to spank my ass, get me crying, get the lungs working.
Yes, sir.
And,
yes.
So I've had those vaccines.
Yes.
I had to wear braces on my legs as a little kid to straighten them out.
So as I'm clear,
like Forrest Gump.
So as I'm clear to what you're saying.
Yeah.
So I'm clear. Do you believe that there are certain vaccines that children should get at birth?
Well, apparently.
Oh, I agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
But they've increased the amount of vaccines that's huge.
Well, I'm not aware of that. And
Well, you know, as mayor, you're not going to be in charge of vaccines.
okay, good.
But you know what? You touched on one thing.
Yes, sir.
It's about hiring the best and
That is
brightest.
correct. That is correct.
And so
that is correct.
So I was explaining to a friend of mine this morning about the mall business because I grew up in the mall business.
Yes.
And I was in it when it was good, and
yes.
I could see its failure coming.
Sure.
And I wasn't able to capitalize on it like Amazon and Elon or that Jeff Bezos guy. But we were in business at the same time. But he did a lot better than I did because I'm not a computer guy.
Well, I am.
I understood it.
I am, so I can help you.
Well, good. We got to start going through. You know, we're $500 million in debt at the city.
Well, that is the other subject right there you just touched base on, Henry. As the city mayor, I would concur with Henry and his associates so we can get the hotel off of the city budget.
Yeah, they got no business being in the hotel business.
They have no business being in the hotel business.
You know something?
So as your city mayor, that would go to the professionals like Henry and those guys.
You know what aggravates me?
Would that be okay, Henry?
Yes, sir. You know what aggravates me more than anything about city council is how long Karen Hiller has set up on that board, on that council, and some days she just acts like, well, we're just learning this stuff. She's like a little, she reminds me of the church lady from Saturday Night Live. And I don't mean to pick on her, but she said that a bark park would be economic development.
The only thing I can say about Mrs. Hiller is she was the wife of Glenn Briggs when they demolished my homes because they said they were beyond 15% repair.
How many times she been married?
I don't know. I just know. I believe.
I remember she was married to a Hiller guy that was a lawyer,
and
that marriage went sour.
Well, I believe she was married to him. I'm pretty
sure. I think
sure
she could beat him in arm wrestling.
So, and speaking with Miss Hiller, and this is the changes that I would love to bring about with the city of Topeka.
You want to talk about the Good Old Boy Network?
No, not right now. Let me finish, please.
All right.
We need to be a part of helping people. The common man. Now, as I said to you earlier, Henry, I enjoy some things about Donald. As a matter of fact, Donald has taught me a lot in his administration.
Are you talking about Donald J. Trump right now?
Yes, he's taught me a lot in his administration, what to do and what not to do. However, we need to be about, the government was formed to help its citizens. Was it formed to help the rich, the poor, both? Anyhow.
Well, let's go back in time.
A wise man is only rich? I don't think so. Because I have experienced personally where they have stopped me, and I don't consider myself a wise man, but I've seen them as they've stopped my father in his business dwellings.
At the airport.
For most of you all do not know Jim Bolden, he was the owner of Mid-America Aviation for 36 years. And he worked night and day to keep the operation alive. Now, he also, what most people don't know, I don't know if you know about this, Henry, he also created Dr. Parks and Bowser Johnson, Bowser's Funeral Home, created Capital City Credit Union. Was a credit union to help those businesses and people. And Dr. Parks was able to get some of his customers to invest their money into Capital City Credit Union. And the banker went to the state of Kansas and told the state of Kansas this. And the state of Kansas come in and told my father, you got to remove Gilbert Parks. And father said, well, why do we need to remove Gilbert Parks? At that time, he did not know. But hindsight, years later, it was because what, Henry?
He was black.
No.
Oh.
No.
He was a Republican.
No.
He wasn't part of the Good Old Boy Network.
That might have had something to do with it.
What? Who did he piss off?
But you didn't hear my story, Henry. You're not listening, Henry.
Well, I don't know everything about Gilbert Parks. I'm sorry.
But my story
I'm listening.
My story said that his clientele
were poor folk.
No.
Who were they?
He was a psychologist, a psychiatrist.
Part of Meningers.
Well, no, he had his own practice.
Okay.
So his people had money.
Us crazy folk.
They had money.
Okay.
And they took their money out of their banks to put it in the Capital City Credit Union.
Well, how could you figure all that out from your story?
Well, I said that.
Well,
listen. You want to listen, Henry?
What?
But the key.
I just wasn't able to tie the two together.
Okay, now can you tell me why?
Because the Good Old Boy Network didn't like the fact that they got money taken out of their banks.
There you go.
So they spanked him at the state level.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Your light's flashing,
Henry. Where? That the speaker?
That was Eddie?
Yeah, that's the speaker.
I thought we might have had a
No,
call.
it don't matter. Okay, can I chime in?
Yes, sir.
Or you want to put a ribbon on that story?
Well, Henry.
Because did you hear what the Donald did the other day at Davos? Davos over in Switzerland, where the new world order meets.
It's hard to keep up with Donald.
Well, so he told him he didn't go, but he was on. I'm trying to get Steve Watkins on the show. He was in Davos, but it's where the new world order was meeting, and he chastised Jamie Dimon for not loaning money to conservatives. So what they've done, conservatives have had less access to capital due to the fact that the narrative of the New World Order is more liberal. And but you really hit on something, because what I was trying to tell today, my friend, about is analogies. Because if we can tie some of the stuff that everybody's seeing and tie it into Topeka politics, you know, originally it wasn't so much the government was founded for the people. It was founded for freedom, which the people are all going to get the benefit from, but it was to get away from the crown. You know, so the monarch. Okay. And so what Trump is saying right now, and everybody's saying that there's a fourth form of government, the bureaucracy. And so the deep state and the bureaucrats, government is too bloated. It's got too many people. Imagine, this is what I don't think people really are seeing. It's Trump passed a executive decision that said, if you don't come to work, you're fired.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So if you don't come to work, you're fired.
Okay.
All right. And then he said, okay, for those of you that really don't want to come back to work, we'll embrace that. We'll give you an early buyout, until August or September.
Okay.
You get your benefits and you get your salary and go find a new job.
Okay.
So 75,000 employees
Yes.
took that voluntarily.
Yes, that's correct. I read about that.
Yeah. So here's what I'm trying to go. It's going to take a long way to get there. What we have in Topeka
Mm-hmm.
is a bureaucracy.
That is correct.
And within our city government and outside, the NGOs, the non-government associations, think about it. The Visit Topeka, Go Topeka, Downtown Topeka, they're all getting tax dollars,
Correct.
but they're not elected. They're not elected people. But listen to this. This is what's the real crime that just got approved. They raised the fee to do developments in the city to $5,000 for TIF, for CID, and RHID. So our housing is so bad. Laura Kelly said, we're gonna bring in a rural housing program to incentivize developers in the city limits of Topeka that usually we have for like Western Kansas, where it's so hard to make money in housing. I mean, my friend Dana K. Anderson, who's
Why is it hard to make money in housing?
Well, it's just it's something I just don't know about. But Dana will tell you, and others will tell you, that the regulations make it not feasible. Benefit districts now, and you know what I really don't like.
When you say make money, I don't mean to interrupt you, but everybody has a different level of what they consider money.
Okay, well here, let me ask you this: as mayor, do you want to be in the housing business?
It appears. I thought I did.
What do you know about housing?
Well, I know that back in the Nixon administration, I think we talked about this once. Sam Jackson, which was an attorney back in the 50s, Sam Jackson would help my father out because before he was owner of Mid-America Aviation, he had a construction business, dump truck business. And there was a gentleman didn't want to pay my father. And so Sam Jackson got a meeting, got my father to have a meeting with the guy, and he showed up at the meeting, Sam Jackson. And after that, my dad was able to get paid, long story short. Sam Jackson also went to the Nixon administration. And he was the creator. He's right here from Topeka. Miss Jackson, she was still alive last I know. His wife was still here.
Let's get her on the show.
Well, I'll have to try to do that. I'll make a call if you really want her on the show. And see if she will accept it. But he created the housing and urban development, which was used here in where the Jefferson Square is currently at today. Before it was Jefferson Square, it was called. Do you remember?
I don't even know where Jefferson Square is.
Oh, okay. Well, my wife is not here, so she can't prompt my memory. But every good man needs a good woman. And
I think Trump did better than Clinton.
As far as what?
Women.
Well, I have no comment on that. I have no comment on that.
She can speak 5 languages.
Can she?
Yeah. How many can you speak?
The one.
I can speak English and bad English.
Okay. She can speak 5 languages?
I can speak a little.
Is that why she doesn't show up with him?
She's with him.
Okay.
Oh, are you judging now?
No, I'm asking you.
No, but was that a judgment
Well, when
call?
you said she speaks 5 languages, you said she was smart, right?
Okay, let's go back to you wanting to be in the housing business. As mayor, do you want to be in the housing business?
As mayor?
Yeah.
Well, as mayor, no.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Still got my support.
Yeah, as mayor, no, I don't want to be in the housing
Good.
business. As an individual, I wanted to be in the housing.
But should home builders be able to make a profit?
Well, I think that I kind of want to go back to what
No. Hang on. We're right here. Let's stay.
Go ahead.
Should home builders be able to make a profit for building a home?
I think home builders do make a profit. They
No.
wouldn't build homes.
Pardon?
They wouldn't build homes if they didn't make profits, would they?
Well, why do we have a housing shortage in Topeka?
That's intentionally.
Wow, how?
Well, that way you keep the prices up high.
Bullshit.
Huh? That's my opinion.
Okay, but that's not true.
Well, that's my opinion. It's done intentionally to keep the prices up high. Being from Topeka,
No, wait a
I
minute. No,
go
wait a
ahead.
minute. So now they've created affordable housing programs that we can use in Topeka, RHID.
I'm not familiar.
So
RHID.
we're gonna have to get you familiar with this.
RHID.
Yeah.
What does it stand for?
Well,
What
originally
does that
it's
acronym stand for?
Rural Housing Investment District,
And where
something like that.
where are they located at?
Well, originally it was for rural areas where they needed housing.
Rural areas.
Rural areas.
What about in the city?
Well, Laura Kelly, rightfully so, and the Department of Commerce said within inside the city limits you can have RHID.
Well, that doesn't. Are they going to rename it?
Yeah, they did. They came up with another name.
Okay. All right. Well, they already have the housing and urban development here.
I don't know anything about it.
You don't know anything about
No,
the
because
housing and urban development?
I don't. You know why I've stayed away from housing?
I'm surprised.
Well, Dana K. Anderson was in the housing business, couldn't make it here due to the city of Topeka's rules and regulations. And if Dana K. Anderson can almost go bankrupt over it,
That was just in Topeka.
why should I touch it?
But that's just in Topeka, right?
Yeah, he did really good in the mall
Very
business.
good. Very
And
good.
I like commercial
He
deals.
had to leave Topeka to do good. Is what I caught from that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And that's why I'm looking at running for mayor.
Okay, but here's what I'm saying.
Because you should not have to leave Topeka.
Hey, Topeka, I'm not leaving.
If you're an honest man or an honest woman, you should not have to leave to do good. You wonder why people are not coming here. Henry, on the Henry Live show.
Henry McClure Live.
Henry McClure Live.
I got kicked off TikTok.
Explain to you why, and he introduced me to this man he's referring to. But why he had to leave Topeka? Because he appeared to me to be a good man.
He's one of my favorites.
But if you're honest, if you're truthful, if you're righteous.
You know, that's what Mace Siegel said. Just be that guy. Just what you said.
You know.
That was Mace.
Can you make it here? Well, that's what I want to change. Okay. I'm let you.
Well, no, but here's so. Let's say there's an area, and let's just take CVA.
What does the acronym stand for?
Christina Dalviviacla.
Okay.
Valdivia.
Okay.
So if I wanted to do a housing district, oh, you know what she told me the other day? Go talk to Karen Hiller.
Okay.
And I don't want to talk to Karen Hiller. I want to get Karen Hiller replaced off the city council because she thinks a bark park is economic development.
Well, she has been of no help to me. That's all I can say about it.
Well, let's find out how many people. So we need to get somebody to run for Karen Hiller's seat.
Well,
and
right.
so what you ought to do, if you're a smart mayor,
yes, sir,
Your Honor, what you do is you get a slate of people that we all support. Because look, that's what the Donald did. He got a slate of people across the country that wanted change.
Right.
And I'll tell you, I thought I didn't get elected because I didn't get enough Republicans out to vote for me.
Okay.
You know, I run into a lot of Democrats that voted for me.
Okay.
But I'll tell you today, we got to continue to talk. You know what I mean?
Very good.
But look, if I want to do a deal in CVA's district, I don't want to have to put up $5,000 in an application fee.
That's what
they just approved that last Tuesday.
To do what? To be able to do what?
To do a housing project.
5,000.
5,000.
Now,
Why in the
your,
hell should I have to put up $5,000 to put up a housing project in one of the worst neighborhoods in the area?
well, being you're a broker, you're saying that's not normal. Is that what you're telling me?
What
Because
I'm saying,
I don't know anything about that.
well, I don't think we know what normal is. I mean,
There's normal change. Normal would be back when you were coming up, starting out.
now the king, that's what they hated about the king going back to freedom, is people didn't want to pay tax to the crown and not get the benefits of any representation.
Well, we need the benefits of the representation.
Well, look,
and that's what I'm here for today, is saying that
I'm lobbying. I'm not promoting you. I'm lobbying right now. I'm lobbying. I'm going to support you if you go, depending on how you keep answering questions. But I'm lobbying.
Very good.
But if we made an even playing field, see, Jim Klossman's not going to go build over in CVA's district. Mm-hmm. Number one, he wouldn't go there because he doesn't think she likes him, whatever. But he's got enough lots out in Lawrence Bay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, hang on. Let me give it one more time.
Yes, sir. Go ahead. Yes, sir.
There are a lot of people that come down and yap. They're yappers.
Mm-hmm. You talking about your station?
No, I'm talking about down in front of city council.
Oh, okay.
They've got and there's a lot of smart people. They got good answers and good ideas, but they ain't putting up the $100 or the $5,000 to actually build something.
You say they should.
They should, but they should make it to where those are the people. Hey, Miss Trimlow, what you need to do is to get the application fee down to $100.
Okay.
So why should staff? We can pay their way. They shouldn't make developing in the town a profit center. The city shouldn't. If you want development to be in, if you want development in the city of Topeka, make it easier to do it. And don't make it, why should I spend $5,000 on what may be a rotten project? Well, and then on top of that, you shouldn't have to pay the city's consultant to analyze the project. No, they call it the but-for test.
Don't the taxpayers do that? Pay for that?
Yeah, we pay for it.
Isn't he under salary already?
No, he's a consultant.
Well, that opens up another can of worms now. A consultant. Now, I have experienced all these consultants. They give an opinion. You pay them $50,000, $200,000, $250,000. And after you get their opinion, you throw away their program. So I'm be concerned.
You mean, no, you're right.
Go ahead.
No, we're going to pay the consultant, and then we don't do what they said.
That's correct.
That's the problem. That's like the iconic footbridge. Now look here. They approved Tuesday night $3.5 million to Bartlett and West to design shrinking Huntoon down. Have you ever been on Huntoon Street, like about Gage and go eastbound? Lickety split, you're on Topeka Boulevard, right?
Gage and down Huntoon. They've been working on that for quite some time.
Yeah, but they want to shrink it down.
Gage down to Huntoon.
Gage to Topeka Boulevard on Huntoon.
Gage going back east.
East.
Okay.
So they want to shrink that down to one lane.
Well, they've already done it, haven't they?
No, that's 12th Street.
Oh, that's 12th Street. Okay.
And then ask the fire department about that. Next time you run into the police chief, and if you really want to be mayor, you're going to have to start living in the city council chambers. You're going to want to meet everybody.
Well,
and then I got another idea, but let me get to it because I got an idea. I got a harebrained idea after you called me. But look, we don't need to spend $3.5 million today on Huntoon when we can drive down Huntoon.
Now, have they got the bid? Did they get 3 bids?
I don't know. They just they funnel a lot of money to Bartlett and West because of Neil Dobler.
Well, these are why I'm looking and exploring and asking for the citizens of the city of Topeka.
You know, they
interested? Are you interested
in
in
change.
getting change? That's correct. I have worked in the construction industry for 20 years, and I understand the fact that you get 3 bids prior to awarding the contract. It's not always to the lowest bidder, but it's called the best and qualified. Now, I don't know everything about everything
And you don't have to.
because I got you there, right?
No, you can surround yourself with the department heads. You know, if you've got a good city attorney, you got your, you got a clerk, your
Well, the key is, Henry,
public works.
how many of those people are going to, because when you have a changeover, like kind of like what Donald's doing, you have to get people in that have the people's interest involved.
Okay, so
How do you do that? Can you
let
do
me
that?
ask you
Can
something.
that be done?
If you want change, so do we get rid of the city manager and have a strong mayor?
I don't know that yet. I'm going to be asking for a meeting with the city manager. And the reason being is because when I talk to a city official or a Go Topeka official, and the point comes to where they decide they don't want to talk to me any longer.
Do you believe that's a racial thing
I
or
have
stature? You ain't a good old boy network dude.
That's it right there. That's it right there. Everything's not about race. I want to make that clear.
No, I know that. I'm
Well,
just picking on
I
you.
know you know that, but I'm trying to. If this reaches out, I want to talk to the audience about me.
They know.
They know.
They know you and I get along.
Okay. I am not one that throws that race card in every time. What I am here
Never.
to say, what I am here to say is because I am a believer in the Almighty God. I love Jesus. That is why I am being depicted, because I love the Lord.
Depicted how?
Because those who do not love the Lord are not going to love me. I am hoping that there is enough citizens within the city of Topeka that love the Lord, and you should be able to see, because he says that you shall let your light shine. I'm hoping that my light is shining enough to where you can see who I am. Through your spirit, I'll see who you are. But because I am tired, I'm in my early 60s and I don't have much longer to go. But I've had an epiphany to say, Henry said to me a long time ago, you need to run for mayor. My attorney told me when they took my housing, James, you need to run for mayor. I didn't want to run for mayor. That's not what I chose to be. But because of the atrocities I have faced, and before you cut me off, I was talking about the fact that when the city leaders don't want to talk to you, they just don't take your phone calls.
The mayor has never called me back.
I have asked the city manager, I have made a recommendation to the current city manager that he make a complaint form out for the citizens. Because if I was the mayor, I would answer each and every one of your complaints. They have done away with there's a department in the city of Topeka that they have done away with that handle complaints. Are you familiar with that department that used to be there? It was more of a civil rights or EEOC. They would handle your complaints. They've done away with that department. Are you familiar with what I'm referring to?
No, I thought I was the complaint department.
Okay. Well, you thank God that he's allowed you to help in that area. But there is no complaint form, and I've asked the city manager that when it comes to the Go Topeka, when it comes to the city officials, that you don't just not answer your call or not respond to your call.
I take my bad calls first. You know why? I want to get them off the list. Now I do want to.
Because you have nothing to hide.
I want to correct one thing. The mayor did call me back one time. You know why?
Mm-hmm.
He was instructed to by Jim Klossman. It did. It had to do with the Travelers Hotel.
Too often, Mr. McClure, we are
we all the way home. What are we doing here?
Too often we are led, and I'm gonna call it manna.
Yeah.
Too often that is what controls our decisions. Well, as I'm saying today, it is the good Lord and the Spirit of the Lord that will control my decisions. Because I don't worship manna. And the audience knows what manna is if they want to vote for me. They know what manna is.
Yeah.
And that will not be the controlling force.
You know why Jim Klossman will take my phone calls?
Yes, sir.
Because of manna.
Very good.
Yeah,
I like you, Henry.
Yeah, we might make a deal. You know, hey, Henry's a deal maker. He may have one for me today. And you know why the mayor won't take my call? Because he wants to control the manna.
He wants to control the manna.
Yeah, he wants to be in control of the manna. See, it's not whether or not a deal gets made in Topeka. It's who makes the deal. That's the good old boy network. You know, is Greg Schwartz going to get the architectural fee? Is Torgenson going to get the electrical contract? You know.
Well, these are people that are probably in the chamber. Is that correct?
Oh, yeah. So
and it appears to me that we have a system, and don't get me wrong, I'm not here to badmouth every system.
Well, it's not bad mouthing when you're telling the truth.
But the system is, and don't get me wrong, I'm sure that there is some positive with dealing with people who have money. Can you tell us here on what tell me something positive? Because if you're dealing with people who don't have money, I mean, because
well, I'll tell you the positive for me.
Go ahead.
Is I always get paid.
Very good. Okay.
So I pick, I pick working with rich people.
Now, the thing about it is, what I have seen is that the money goes to Queen Bee.
Oh, you mean Molly Howie?
I don't know who
she is. The Queen Bee.
I don't know who the Queen Bee was. Who they labeled of where they was giving the money to. They didn't say the company.
Oh, it's a bullshit thing they've got to act like they're secrets. You know, because look.
The secrecy.
The people that are on the board at Go Topeka, they know who Queen Bee is.
That's correct.
Yeah, it's all bullshit.
But,
and so why should
if it's taxpayers' dollars?
Yes.
Should not you and I know who Queen Bee is?
Yeah, but here's the thing about it: we don't need to be funding Queen Bee till we fix the holes in the street.
I like that.
Yeah,
I like that.
Let's. If we make this is where your job could be easy as mayor. Just don't stick your nose into everything. You know? Hey, let's have clean water. Let's have somebody that knows how to run the water department working for you.
And I also know from experience how they go about the chamber, how they go about doing business.
Well, and, it's the epitome of the good old boy network.
I bought a fire extinguisher today, Henry, just in case. You know, they burnt my truck down back in 2001 when I went before.
Oh, you bought a fire extinguisher so when they burn you out.
Maybe they won't burn me all the way out and I can save me and my wife, hopefully. Because I already know.
You know, I think he's actually serious here.
Oh, I am serious.
Wow.
I'm as serious as can be. They threw a Molotov cocktail into my truck one afternoon. Me and my wife was sitting in the front living room, and she said, "Did you hear that?" Well, I was.
Did you have full coverage?
No, I had liability.
Liability only.
Yeah. And I was sitting in the living room, smoking on my pipe, and just, relaxed, you know. And she said, "Did you hear that?" I said, "No, I didn't hear anything, honey." And so she went out.
Hey, I'd like to see you smoking a pipe.
She went out and she looked over the door. She said, "James, your truck is on fire." Excuse me.
That's okay.
She said,
I didn't
"James,
see anything.
your truck is on fire."
Holy shit.
And I said, "Wow."
Now, what had you done? Who'd you piss off?
I pissed off the mayor.
Which one?
At that time, it was Felker
Butch?
or Joan, one of them.
Oh, Joan would never burn you down, but Butch would. Oh, he looked like Slick Willie.
Okay. We're here live on the Henry McClure
Man,
show.
I'm telling you, Butch and the guy, that Tony guy that was running this. See, I had everybody at Go Topeka stand up against me. That was back when Joe Ledbetter was on my side. And I was trying to get 49th Street paved when I had almost 200 acres of land under a development contract. But Go Topeka didn't want Henry McClure anywhere near that economic development money because they weren't going to tell him who Queen Bee was. And, Dana Kay and I put up $36,000 to do a break and access study. Again, it's just another report shelved. But if we could come off Highway 75 today onto 49th Street, and it's legal to have break and access there. And you could redo 49th Street, then I'd have had a hard surface. You know what I'm going to ask for? I want to ask for the land back, the 75 acres that Dana and Sue Anderson sold to Go Topeka. In 20 years ago, it's been off the tax rolls. But I want to do an affordable housing project out there.
And where's that located?
Right across the street from Bimbo Bakery.
Oh, out there, over there.
Yeah. They didn't want me involved with the Commerce Park.
This, and I'm going to be totally open here with you.
Well, it's part of what we do here on Henry McClure Live.
I believe, and as you see, I am a black man. And there has been reasons over the years, not just in Topeka, but all over our country, all over our land. And I had brought this proposal to you, Henry, and that land may be the perfect land. I'd have to check with my wife. She would have to okay it. My wife okays everything, you all, before I go into it, most everything. Probably 90%, 95%.
That's probably why I'm not married.
Well, but she's a smart woman. She's a good woman. Her IQ is 145, 140. But Topeka is bombing her out. She's been ready to leave probably.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah. Now,
but my
point getting back.
She's got a good job.
My point, well, she's had better jobs, she said. Now, my point, Henry, is that, and I said this to you once before, and I'm going to say it here on Henry Live, that if we wanted to build housing there, we want to build nice housing there, right?
Affordable housing.
Okay, but it's nice housing. Correct?
Well, so let's. I want to build everything to veteran standard.
Okay.
So so you could get a VA loan.
Okay. So the key, Henry, is if I was mayor, I would want it to be nice housing. And the reason being is because there's black people that have money. And they want to live in a nice neighborhood. And if you can build a nice neighborhood, 150 and up, where black people can live, where black people don't have to be a threat. See, I lived in Raleigh, North Carolina once, and they had their own neighborhood. Remember I talked to you that a while back about black people having, black people having their own neighborhood?
But I don't really like where that's going, because what about us white folk? Why can't we have a $150,000 home? And why can't us whiteys?
150 up.
Well, but why can't us whiteys live there?
Well, I'm not saying you can't live there.
Okay.
What I'm saying is
No, no, but
well,
honestly,
let me finish,
I
please.
hear where you're coming
You
from.
see where I'm going?
Yeah, I do.
Well, tell the people, tell the speakers.
Well, it's like Banks the other day. When Banks was looking for a house,
Okay.
he wanted to live on that side. He felt more comfortable over there.
He felt more comfortable.
Yes.
Okay. He felt more comfortable.
Did you know David Banks is black too?
Yes.
Yeah.
He felt more comfortable. So what I'm here to say is that we
see,
need
it's all in how you're raised, whether you see color.
Well, that is correct. However, uh, whether you cut your grass or not, and I'm thinking that there are black people who will cut their grass. Now, don't get me wrong. There are neighborhoods where can I? How do? Is it okay to say?
You can say whatever you want.
Is it okay?
You
to
can
say
call me a cracker.
Is it okay to say white
where the
people,
crackers live?
If I can say white people neighborhoods,
yeah.
can I say that? Okay.
The Keebler.
Yeah.
the crackers.
They have white people have nice neighborhoods. And I think that me as an individual, my wife, we want to live in a nice neighborhood also. Is there something wrong with that?
No.
Okay, so if you could build a neighborhood to where it's a nice neighborhood, I think that if, like I say, get my wife's approval, then that would be good.
You know how proud I am of my grandfather, James Austin McClure?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Integrated the schools after Brown versus Board of Education.
Okay, I'm listening. There's a McClure Elementary School.
That's named after my grandfather.
I was always wondering about that.
I went there first, second, third grade. Hey, and Robert North, who's head of the attorney for commerce, if you're watching the show, call me. You owe me a phone call. But I went to grade school, first, second, third at McClure School. Now, I never met my grandfather.
It was integrated, you're saying?
Well, so he just happened to be on the school board. Okay? And he happened to be a judge. You know, my grandfather honestly had to kick his son out of his own law firm because my dad misbehaved. But Harry Calmary liked my dad. And Harry saved my dad's life spiritually. You know, my dad never got over incinerating Japanese people because he was in the Army Air Corps.
You've talked about that.
Yeah, he dropped more incendiary bombs on, and you know, the construction in Japan, it's rice paper and wood. I mean, it went up like a matchstick. But they lied about how many the atomic bombs killed versus the incendiary bombs. So my dad was part of all that. He saw all this going on. He actually was on the Manhattan Project, trained 5 crews of 5 to drop the atom bombs. And he was a navigator. But see, look.
What was the lie?
The lie was the amount of people that died from the atomics. They inflated the numbers because to keep the Russians in check. Because so what was happening, the Russians were starting to come in through the Koreans to get involved in World War II they were going to get at the Japanese through Korea. And they were able to drop these atomics to stop the war because that stopped Stalin from coming in through the Koreas back in the day. The last thing they wanted was the Russians in the Koreas. Well, back then it was just Korea. You know, that was before the Korean conflict. But so the lie was about how many the atomics killed. They wanted to inflate them.
Are you saying that the
incendiaries killed more? The incendiary bombs. That's where they invented napalm.
I understand what you're saying. I've never heard of it until you mentioned it, actually.
Well, see, I know about it because my dad lived it.
Yeah, and I said I never heard about it.
My dad lived it.
Yeah, and I've never heard about it through any of the PBS.
Well, here's another thing my dad lived. His dad didn't believe in separate but equal.
Okay, just give me a minute.
Let's go back to 501. So we're going to have separate schools, but they're going to be equal because we're going to have the black schools get first choice of all the teachers in 501. Yes. And
We're
then,
talking about a lot, Henry. So I'm just going to be quiet and try to digest some of this.
well, and I know about it because it's my life and it's easy to talk about. So my grandfather was on the school board, but he didn't believe in separate but equal. But this is in,
Oh, okay. Okay, I'm with you now.
yeah, so this is in the 50s. This is as civil rights is becoming a popular thing.
Yes.
All right. And so,
Now, why he didn't believe it's separate but equal?
because he thought that white people and black people ought to go to school together.
Oh, you heard it here on Henry McClure Live.
Yeah. So we grew up. So my dad, I inherited that from my dad. And the Bantleon side, we weren't racist on that side. So the McClures and the Bantleons, we weren't racist. So it's all in how you're raised. It's in
Yes.
it's in my DNA.
Yes. And I'm gonna confirm that here because when I graduated from Missouri Institute of Technology out of Kansas City in 1979, I worked at PRC, which I think they're still there, for 10 years. And my supervisor, I won't say his name, I think he's passed away now, but my supervisor said a story. He was raised in North Topeka. And my supervisor was swimming in the swimming pool, which was minorities and white people and everybody. But his dad, the story went like this. His dad had pulled him out of the swimming pool and took him home and beat his butt and said, You're you don't you're better than those people. You don't belong in the same swimming pool as them.
What color was he?
He married a Filipino woman. I want to say he was a white man as far as I knew. So that the story that you gave me, I just want to share that story. Every people are raised to be racist.
Well, yes, and that's sometimes
Would you
it's
agree
stuff.
with-
Yes,
would you
because
agree with
sometimes
that?
it's hard being white.
Okay.
It is. Sometimes it's hard being white,
Okay.
and
Now,
I
that
can
caught
play.
me that caught me off guard too.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I'll play the McClure card
Elaborate on that.
because of
You say it's hard to be white. Elaborate.
because of racism.
You mean some people.
Yeah, I think that.
So you're saying that when they put it all in a bag and say that all white people are bad, is that what you're referring to?
Well, look at if you're a white guy, you can't be the city manager or the chief of police.
Oh, wait a minute.
What I'm telling
You're
you,
losing me now, Henry.
yeah, I know, but that's all right. I did it on purpose.
Okay.
I'm telling you, sometimes this racism thing works. It's what diversity, equity, inclusion is trying to get at. It's trying to get at the white man. It really is.
Well, elaborate a little bit.
Well, the white guy has had it so good for so long.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
we're gonna change that. That's that diversity, equity, inclusion. I think is the beginning of racism.
Oh, okay.
So you're
So-
you're
so-
deciding
so
who
you-
gets the
so-
job based on
so-
diversity,
so
equity, and
what
inclusion.
So what you're saying is, and I'm going to use the word white privilege. Is that a bad word?
No, you know what I used my white privilege for? Getting a job when I was in 7th grade for $1 an hour.
Okay.
And working.
Okay. Well, I think it goes beyond that, doesn't it? Or
You know
doesn't it?
why I like to work hard?
Yeah.
Because if I didn't have to ask anybody for money, I could do whatever I wanted.
That is correct.
Yeah.
That is correct.
And
So
because
you're
I didn't
saying-
like
so-
my
so,
step.
So you're saying when you were growing up, you made $1 an hour?
I made $1 an hour, and I got free golf and free food. The day I
Okay.
cleaned the concession stand.
Okay. Now let me, and I can agree with that. That could be considered white privilege back in the day when we grew up, because I made $5 a week working 6 days a week. My dad would give me $5, and that was working
Well, bring that up with your employer.
12 to 16 hour days. So we just have a little fun here.
You
We
bring
have
it
a
up with your
little-
employer.
We're having a little fun here.
But no, no, no. So no, no.
You lost me on the fact.
Okay, no, no. Let me reel you back in.
Okay.
Okay. So, if your grandfather integrated the schools, you're a friend of the black folk. You weren't for the white people getting their way.
Okay. But your grandfather did.
Yeah.
Right.
So I play the McClure card as much as I can when I get against somebody of color bringing up the fact that I'm white.
Okay. I think I see where you're going here.
And here's the deal. I've always been a working man.
Yes.
See, I'll tell you, I had a lot of resentments against my dad, the powerful lawyer, who didn't pay my mom child support because he's fucking jealous.
Jealous of?
My mom divorcing him.
Jealous?
He was embarrassed.
Oh, he was.
But my dad was a bad money manager.
You think so?
Yeah.
Well,
my dad was not. My dad ran around. He had an eye for the ladies. He loved to booze it. And I think my mom divorced my dad because she could do it. She could do it on her own.
Well,
I admire my mom for divorcing my dad. The strength of my mom.
That's interesting. How we, again, we're two different colors, but however we have dads that were very successful. And there's some similarities. I won't go into them right now. There's some similarities between our fathers, and there's some similarities between our mothers.
I will tell you, I got divorced because the lifestyle my ex-wife thought I was living, that actually sounded kind of fun. And if I'm going to get blamed for it, I might as well go live it.
Okay.
So,
very good.
Thank God I got clean and sober. Mm-hmm. That's all I can say.
Very good. Very good.
Here's the thing about Topeka.
And with the Lord, He will give you a second chance.
Oh, man. I think this cat might have 9 lives.
Jesus Christ will give us a second chance to life. He gave me a second chance to life because I didn't get it right the first time. And I understand that.
I like you bringing God into the political scene.
He is who I owe everything to. Not man, but Jesus. Because He showed me the right way. As a child, we do things as a child. But as a man, we'll put childish things away. I did not realize I was a child until I began to open up the Bible and to read it and to understand what the Lord, Solomon and David, and reading their novelties in regard to their experiences. What you're doing is sharing your experience as a Solomon.
I live my life out loud. I do.
And as you read the Bible, David and Solomon will share with you their experiences in the Old Testament. And then Jesus Christ came. And when Jesus came, He said, I'm not here to rewrite it, but I'm here to fulfill it. And when He fulfilled it, He said that I am going to give you a second chance, because all you have to do is believe in me, repent of your ways, believe in me, repent of your ways, and follow me. Jesus Christ, I'm referring to.
Amen. So, Your Honor, what would be the first thing? What's something you want to change as being the mayor?
Well, again, I start out by saying I don't believe the city needs to own that hotel.
Right.
Number one.
I think we can all agree on that.
Number two, we need to get our streets fixed. We can
all agree on that.
Number three, we need to give all people, rich and poor, an opportunity for their dreams.
Hang on, right there. You know, I like that one the best. You know, if there's one thing that I could do, I could teach people how. Yeah, help yourself, man. Don't you like those mints?
Yeah, I know we're getting about down to the end for me, but I want to hold in there, try to hang in there with you as long as possible.
Energy and focus. if there's one thing I could do, and I give away my knowledge, and that's how to be a developer. Do I really want to be a developer today? No, not really. Not in Topeka. I think Topeka's got a lot of ungrateful people. They were talking the other day. Somebody was talking the other day, this Trimlow lady, about the failures at College Hill and what the expense it is on the taxpayers. Well, I will tell you that in the public-private partnership, if you had Jerry Morgan as your partner and you had the city of Topeka as your partner, well, it's not all my fault.
Well, I don't see it as a failure at all, if I may say.
Well, ask Karen Hiller and this Trimlow lady.
Why does Karen see it as a failure? I have to ask her, I guess.
Yeah.
But maybe you bring her in here and I can ask her.
I don't want her in my studio, I don't think.
Okay.
Isn't that terrible?
That's terrible.
Okay, Karen, but there's got to be somebody else in the studio with me. She might try to take advantage of me.
Why would she see it as a failure? Because Washburn has grown.
I got to get David Banks in here. No, he'll be my muscle.
Yeah.
He'll watch Karen.
Okay, very good.
Because she's really handsy and likes to hug people.
Okay.
That's the police department and the fire department.
David Banks is a big guy, and he appears to me to be someone that you can talk to. I don't know how much he's going to get done, but he's still early in the process. But he seems like a likable guy is what I'm trying to say.
He is. I think.
That's what I'm trying to say.
There's a point in time,
That's your boy, David Banks.
Boy, don't say boy. I'm his boy.
Oh, you're his
I'm
boy.
his cracker. Henry McClure. I'm David Banks' cracker. I like David.
Okay.
Yeah. Because he's real. He's honest. He's got a past.
I don't know him that well. Well, we all have past. But I do know.
He's a study. I'm watching him. He married his first wife again. It's like getting a parole from prison and he went back to jail. But
okay.
Sorry, Joyce.
Well, anyhow, like I said, I don't know him.
Joyce and Sylvia Ortiz are really good friends.
Okay.
She wouldn't let me in the house the other day. Joyce wouldn't.
Well,
But I love you, Sylvia.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah. Me.
I think, sometimes you got to watch how Sylvia votes.
Well, Sylvia doesn't really know me. So she probably doesn't know that she got off with a bad start with me.
Oh, what'd she do?
Well,
was this a black thing?
Well, this was where she put me in the same boat because she doesn't know me, but she put me in the same boat with some of her other constituents. And when she did that, she belittled me.
Oh. The mayor did that to me the other day.
She don't even know me. But we know Pastor Templeton in common. And she doesn't know that I was a member. She doesn't know that my father was a treasurer for Pastor Templeton for a number of years.
Who's this Templeton?
Templeton was the pastor of Mount Carmel Missionary Baptist Church. He was a holy man. He wasn't a perfect man.
None of us are.
But he was a holy man. He loved the Lord. And Mount Carmel Missionary Baptist Church is right there at 6th and Line. And that's kind of where I grew up as a child coming up. My mother and father took me there.
You bring up an interesting point about the same boat. And that's the problem with the city council right now. They're all in the same boat. And so if you really want change,
got to mix it up a little bit.
You got to change everybody in the boat.
You got to mix it up a little bit.
I don't hate Sylvia. I don't hate CVA.
Well, you don't hate anybody.
I ain't got time for hate.
You ain't got time.
And I'm not going to let that mayor of Topeka, I'm not going to hate Topeka.
Good.
We came here after the Civil War. This is our roots.
That's correct.
We integrated the schools. My dad worked hard as a lawyer.
Very good.
I'm trying.
Very good.
I'm getting better.
Very good.
But
that's all we can do is try.
But I'm a little angry. I'm a little angry about what the council has done is they've created like a different level. There's a different level of who's really running the city. And I think it's more of the chamber, the Greater Topeka Partnership. I mean, Matt Pavarnak makes 338,000 a year to be the chamber's lackey. You know, he's the gopher. He's the gopher for the big rich guys.
Can I do this?
You can do whatever you want.
You heard it right here at the Henry McClure live show.
What is it?
Mr. McClure.
Oh, you just letting me quote.
Well,
Here's the thing.
I think that.
Did you see where we ranked 40th as worst cities, capital cities?
I did see that.
Okay, and then
did you know the reason why?
Because of Pee Wee Herman, the little bow tie boy.
It mentioned the fact lifestyle. That was part of that. That was part of the reasoning for that.
You know, I moved downtown. You know, I work long hours here.
Yes, sir.
You know, something's funny. I don't really want to go to sleep. You know, I kind of keep going to
that's okay.
where I need to crash. You know, I got it.
Well, that's good.
You know,
you're a working man.
I am a working man.
The problem with me is, and working for my dad for so many years and so many long hours at a young age, that I've had.
You should have had a 401k plan.
Well, I do have one.
No, with your dad.
Well,
he should have been setting money aside.
Well,
the living trust.
My brother, was the manager for my dad in the 90s.
Big brother or younger brother?
Younger brother. I'm the big brother. But he was the pilot coming up. He took pilot. My dad he created a pilot school.
Mm.
And there's been a lot of ladies that learned how to fly planes, which one of them was flying the National Guard plane. She got her pilot's license with my father.
You know, I've got a hat.
Now
you know who the Tuscany pilots are, or Tuskegee? I got a hat from them.
And now,
if you're going to run for mayor, that'll be the hat you can throw in the ring.
And now the pilot school now will be at the
Philip Billard.
Philip Billard.
I could feel you were going over there.
Yeah.
Is that Curtis Sneeden making that happen?
Well, the gentleman there. The gentleman there is the son of that construction company. I can't call the name of it now, but that's okay.
It's all right.
But I don't. That's not a problem. That's a good thing. But I'm saying my father started probably the first pilot school here in the city of Topeka.
Well, let's dig into that. Hey, have you ever looked into Elon Musk's his AI, his artificial intelligence? It's called Gork 3.
No, I haven't looked at Elon.
It's cool. And it's smarter than Chat GBT.
Well, China came up with one that they're all trying to catch up with. Ninevita, they use their products and their technology to help build it. But China came up with one that everybody's trying to catch up with. And I don't know if Elon Musk.
Elon, I think's got it. That's what
it must have just been recent then. Because
we need to.
It must have just been recent because China came up with one.
I'm not going to be your Elon Musk, but we need one for you because we're going to need some money to fight the chamber.
Well, I have the Lord.
Well, he tithes.
I have my Lord as the Lord.
We're going to need some manna from heaven.
Well, the Lord. What I'm trying to say is the Lord is who I've trusted. I knew the Lord before I knew you, Henry. So somehow he brought me to you.
The nice thing is he'll let you get a... Yes, sir.
So if he can bring me to you, what am I trying to say here?
I'll never forget that moment we prayed together.
I'm glad you remember that.
Yeah, right outside you just spoke at the county commission. I got there late.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've been a good friend.
Yeah, you had prayed. You had prayed to the universe.
I pray a lot.
And I believe that the universe, well, that's good. I believe the universe is how you refer to the Lord.
Yeah, I do. I do.
Believe so.
I'm more of a Holy Spirit.
Very good.
Guy.
The Holy Spirit is what talks to you and me. If our spirits don't match, I can't be around you.
Right.
And I'm sure that some of those people that run the city of Topeka, if our spirits don't match, they cannot be around me.
Well, and I tell you,
And that's okay.
it's like Spencer
And
Duncan
that's okay.
he was
It's
on the show the other day.
It's the citizens of this community that have to take charge to take back their community.
Not so much take back, but start having input.
Okay.
It's our city.
Okay.
We just got to have input to it.
Okay, very good. I like that, and I stand to be corrected.
No.
By Henry McClure on the Henry McClure Live.
Well, so
show.
like Spencer Duncan was in the office the other day on the show. I could talk to that guy all day long. Good dude. I like him. We grew up in St. David's. He's a city councilman.
Oh, right. Okay.
But the other day, he voted for a $3.5 million project that we don't need to have. And the really thing that I hate that he did, he thinks that if you're in a CID, you got to have a little sign by the cash register that, hey, this is a CID district. Well, damn it, we need sales tax in this community. And we don't need him doing that to the retailers to have a sign by.
Is that the 5,000 you're referring to?
No.
That's something else.
You had to pay the 5,000. He thinks so, like Chick-fil-A up on the boulevard.
Yes.
He thinks they should have a little sign that says, a percentage of your sales goes to a CID.
Okay, CID is a Community Investment Development
District.
Community Investment District.
Right.
And what is that for? Can you let the people know?
Yeah, so
like
what you do,
don't quite understand.
What you do is you add an extra percentage. You can go up to 2% extra sales tax on top of the existing sales tax. And that's an incentive that developers get for taking a risk. So what we did, like for Chick-fil-A and Whataburger, we gave them, out of necessity, some of our CID money. Otherwise, they were going to come to Topeka.
Oh, I see.
They know how. They hear about Topeka.
So let me just ask you this.
Yes, sir.
Because I'll come about it later. Is CID a good thing?
Yes.
Okay.
You know why?
No, I don't know.
Because if you do CID and you do TIF and you do RHID, you don't need anything else. You don't need Go Topeka running the $5 million. You let the market decide. So what they do is they want to be in charge of Queen Bee. So then they can funnel the money wherever they want to.
Right.
Because they got to be in control. So what you do is you take that $5 million that we give to Go Topeka, they spend half of it or more than half on their overhead.
Right.
So that's bullshit. So you take $5 million and dump it all in the roads and fix the potholes.
So this,
Your Honor,
TIFF,
tax incremental financing.
and this CID.
So let's talk about
is added onto.
No, they kind of operate a little differently. Okay, so TIF is it's mainly property tax, but it also has some sales tax in it. TIF is actually good for retail development.
So you're saying that if you develop a place like Whataburger,
let's go to
or Chick-fil-A.
And by the way, Mr. Klossman, if you're watching, Jimbo, Wheatfield is one of the best developments we've had in Topeka.
Wheatfield?
Bar none.
I have heard of Wheatfield. Where's that located?
29th and Fairlawn.
Oh, okay. I'm familiar with that project.
Yeah. It's one of the best projects we got.
Yeah, Schwartz, I think, was a part of that project.
Yeah, Greggy.
Yeah, he did the art. He's an architect. Schwartz is Mr. Schwartz, architect.
The only thing
that appears to be a good project.
Yeah, so it's got TIF and CID. And it also has some of the sales tax money for roads in it.
So you're saying
there's different pots of money.
And as running for the mayor, I don't know everything, and I'm not going to try to pretend.
You don't have
I'm not going to try to pretend to know everything. I have always been someone that will study it, and it may take me some time to study it before the Lord will before the Lord will
Shine the light.
shine the light and let me know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Thank you.
Well, that's the beautiful thing about being a politician. You don't
I
have
am
to
not a
know.
politician. Yeah, I'm not a politician.
And that's a good thing.
I'm not a politician. That's what I want the people to know.
You know what you
My
bring
decision.
to the table?
Yes, sir. No, I don't.
You bring to the table, you're a working man.
Yes, sir. That is correct.
You know what I mean? You also bring to the table your blackness.
Okay.
Because
So I'm that too.
can't get around it.
Can't get around it.
But you've gone through different things because of that.
Many.
And see, I'm telling you, as a white guy trying to develop in Topeka, I've gone through the same thing because I'm fighting the establishment.
And what you're fighting is because you have given your life to the Lord.
Well, the Lord gave me life. Twice.
Good. Very good. Same thing. We're saying the same thing, Henry.
Here's the thing.
We're saying the same thing.
The people that run this town, it's pay to play. So you got to be a member of the chamber.
We want to change that. We want to change that.
You got my vote.
We want to change that pay to play. And so that's why I'm here today. And we're not going to be able to fix all the problems in one day that have been over 50, 60 years, 50 years, 40 years.
No, man, it probably goes back 150 years.
Okay. You're not going to be able to fix it in one broadcast.
You know why I'm so into this sales tax money for Go Topeka?
Okay.
It's because I went out originally and got it approved. And I feel that I have an obligation to the taxpayers because I told them it was a good idea. And now it's turned out to be a bad idea.
And you're correct. You do have an obligation.
Yeah, I have an obligation to the people.
And that's why I'm here. And it's kind of funny how this is working. Because that's why I'm here today, because I voted for it to be approved. And the reason I voted for it to be approved, because the way they had presented it, it was a good thing.
Yeah.
What happened was,
and I was out selling it.
What happened was, and I was out selling it, but what happened was they took and changed it, and they figured that we would go along with it.
Chuck Wright was a mayor of this town at one time.
Mr. Wright?
Chuck Wright.
Well, you call him Chuck, he's your buddy, but his Dwayne Wright, wasn't it? What was his first name? Dwight Wright? What was his first name?
I don't know.
Mayor Wright.
Mayor Wright.
Okay, maybe I never knew.
Well, because his son was also a mayor, Doug Wright.
Doug Wright.
But his dad was a mayor too.
Oh.
And he pulled me aside after one of my talks, like at the Kiwanis Club or something like that. And he goes, Henry, he goes, this is a good idea and it will work for a little while, but it will just turn into a slush fund for the chamber.
Now, I want to say something, Henry. You asked me if my dad would approve it.
Yeah.
For mayor. Now, I don't look like a mayor. I don't act like a mayor. I don't walk like a mayor. And so, one of my dad's philosophies was, and I'm not saying it's wrong, but he says, you got to fake it to make it. Well, I lived on the East Coast for a little while, not a long time, but I've always wanted to be real. So you see what you get. Go ahead.
I think it's time you tell the people what your dad was head of the Black Republican Party.
Well, he was the head of the Black Republican Party.
I think that's cool.
And he was he was on the Rotary Club before Alonzo Harrison was. But because my father,
I barely got into the Rotary Club last time.
Because my father had.
Have you ever been to Rotary?
Had the same aspirations he, for instance, when they wanted to build that track, the race car track,
Yeah.
over there was a 40 highway. The people said there was going to be too much noise in their neighborhoods. And so he voted along with the people. Well, that got him kicked out of the Rotary Club, is what he's told me. And that's when Alonzo Harrison came in.
You know, I had a couple of guys from Rotary come over here, and they said, well, because point of Rotary's thing is like,
Don't know much about it.
well, it's like what you say, think, and do. You know, is it the truth? You know, is it going to be good for everybody?
Right.
And it's a good guys club. You know, it's
Well,
it's one step above AA, and it's one step below the church. You know what I mean? It's a good guy club.
Well,
You know, Joan Wagner was the first female member of Rotary.
well, then
In
if
Topeka?
that's the case, then why did they kick him out? According to what he's told me.
Well, because
put all this together.
it's the Good Old Boy Network.
Okay, Good Old Boy.
Yeah, it's a narrative.
You said good guys, so I.
Well, it's a good guy club. You know what I mean?
I do now.
Yeah.
I do now.
So I mean, it's one step above Alcoholics Anonymous. You know, it's right there. It's one step below the church.
So
and I loved Rotary. I used to be a member. I was on a board of Rotary, and some things happened on the Rotary Club. You know, Anita Walgast back billed me from what another president let me do. Anita, and she apologized later. But
there's no coincidences.
No, there's not. And Larry Walgast even called Joan Wagner going, why are you supporting Henry for county commissioner? And she goes, I like Henry.
Very good. Very good.
So one thing, you ought to.
Well, I think you were right. It was Felker was the mayor at the time they blew up. The city came.
Your car?
My truck. I had a truck. And the city police came, and they said it was a little boy that did it. And the little boy was running around there. And I guess they talked to the little boy, and then that was it. They made no attempt to help me out as far as the damage that was done. This was to silence me. You have to understand. My dad put my truck into his hangar because he understood, which I didn't at that time, because that was 20 years ago. And I've grown since then. My dad understood that this is what they did to people who spoke up against City Hall.
Yeah, well, so Vince Fry and this other fella that runs Capper Foundation comes over here, and they wanted to talk to me about my podcast and what I'm saying, you know, and they, you know, like, do you really want to be a part of this club? And I said, yeah, you know, I said, it's kind of rude you're here. You just don't, you know, I'm saying it's the truth. You just don't like hearing it. But I made them vote me in, and then I didn't join. But I wanted them to go through the pain and the agony of thinking that I actually might join Rotary.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, you went kind of fast.
I know. I go everywhere.
I didn't catch all that, but that's okay.
All right.
I trust you.
Well, I just, you know, calling people out for the truth. Ain't that right, Vince? And Vince actually put together the commercial for Yes Topeka, the group.
Go Topeka.
Well, back then it was Yes Topeka to get the sales tax. But it's corrupt.
Well,
it's corrupt.
Well, and that's kind of why I'm here today, is because for those who are tired of this corruptness, I had an employee once, Henry, and he said, I asked him a question, and the question was about this corruptness that we're referring to, and he said he had a brother that was part of that politic thing, and he said to me, JB, my brother said it's easier if you join them. What's that saying? How's that saying go?
If you can't beat them,
If
join
you
them.
can't beat them, join them.
Yeah, well, I'm not
Well,
going to.
the thing about it, Henry, is the Lord made me for a reason. And I have gone through a lot of turmoil for a reason.
And we're just not going to throw it all away.
And Jesus allowed me to go through this for a reason, city of Topeka. I'm not here because there's a reason. As I say, I might not look the script, I might not fit the script. And like I said, Henry, when you asked me to become the mayor how many months ago, what did I tell you?
Probably hell no.
Exactly. That's not what I want to do. But here I am today because I'm going to have to say the Spirit has led me here today. So that's all I want to say.
You know what I learned about?
And you have showed me a lot of things.
You know what I learned running for county commissioner?
No, sir.
I learned a lot.
Very good.
You know what I learned?
And that's what I'm hoping to do.
I learned,
if nothing else, learn some more.
Yeah,
I
well,
know a lot about things.
I went door to door a lot more than people think. And I talked to everybody. I don't want to be the guy putting up my own signs. You know what I mean? I didn't ask people for a lot of money, but you got to have money to get elected.
Well, I don't know anything about it.
Well, I do.
I never ran.
Yeah, well, you got to have some
From
money.
my understanding, the money comes in with the commercials. You got to have commercials.
I liked having the billboards.
Now, it was my understanding, you correct me if I'm wrong, I did see you on Channel 27.
I like that guy that interviewed me. He was a good guy.
I don't know if I've seen you on 13 or not.
Yeah, that girl. Yeah, Melissa Bruner. I like her.
She put you on there?
Yeah, she's actually really good at interviewing.
Okay,
She goes, well, Henry.
I didn't see you on 13.
She goes, Henry, this is what I do for a living.
Yeah, okay.
Well,
So you was on both?
Yeah.
Okay.
I liked.
But isn't it the responsibility of these news networks, or do you need to pay to play it?
Not on this show.
Not on these. No, I'm talking about.
Now, hang on a second.
27 and 13.
You know, my Facebook page gets, if you annualize the views, 1.5 million views a year.
Oh, really? Your Facebook page?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
And so what we do now is we download every Henry McClure Live. We put search engine optimization in it. Hey, MD, now we got to focus on James Bolden Jr. We got to put hashtag mayor. We got to put fundraising. Let's put some keywords in this for James. So my guy will do this, and then he'll put graphics on it and load it to my YouTube channel. And then my YouTube channel is blowing up because of I got guys working for me.
Well, this is exploratory. I believe the Lord has given me a calling. You remember what Donald said? He indicated one day that he has been called, and that this is his calling. Now,
I like the best thing that I ever said was, you asked me if he was spiritual.
Yeah.
You go,
yeah.
Well, the day he took a bullet in the ear, he became a believer.
I figured that after I left.
God bless him, man.
Yes.
And he started a Department of Faith.
He did. Huh?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know Mr. Trump again. I don't know him personally.
I'll bet you we'll meet him.
However, you're a big believer in Donald. If I'm out speaking, I mean, okay. If I've misspoken, go ahead.
I'll tell you who I admire in the real estate business is Mace Siegel. And I think Mace Siegel was a better real estate guy than Donald Trump every day of the week. Because Mace started out with zero. You know what I liked about Donald Trump?
No, sir.
He's got it all. He doesn't need this, and he's doing it for us.
He's doing what for us?
freedom. He is going to make. He's he's after the bureaucracy. He's after the pay-to-play people. Look, you can't be the people up there saying, we got to stop him. You know, 75,000 people retired. He didn't fire them. You know, he's looking into all the pay-to-play money. You know, Kesh Patel exposed this Adam Schiff. You know, the Steele dossier, which was all they wanted this hoax of Russian disinformation. Hillary Clinton created it.
Well, what is this thing with Putin then?
What about him? Look, you can look at him as a conqueror or a liberator. He's in there taking real estate of people that spoke Russian. And he was there because the little dancing boy, Luzinski, whatever that guy is. Luzinski. Yeah. He's mistreating the Russian-speaking people in Ukraine.
Okay, well, I don't know anything about that either.
Well, it's interesting because the Orthodox Church, who's a client of mine, they talk about it because the Orthodox Church grew through and went north. And so he's Putin, and I'm not a big fan of Putin, and I'm not for the war, but the whole thing was money laundering. You know, they can't account for $50 billion that went to Ukraine.
But you said something key there. You said you're not for the killings.
No, I am not for the killings, and Trump's going to stop the killing. You watch. He'll stop that war. Hey, so what? He's going to take.
Let me ask you this.
So yes, I am a Donald Trump fan.
Correct. Okay.
I am. But as far as real estate goes,
now, I wanted to ask you this.
you know, see, like I shouldn't call Pee Wee Herman, Matt Pavarnak, Pee Wee Herman because he wears a bow tie, and that's too Trump. You know, I should be more humble.
Okay.
But I'll tell you what I will do. I will fight for what's right. As long as you will.
Okay. Let me go here then.
Because we're about ready to wind down. I can feel it in your eyes.
Yeah. But let me.
You can only take so much Henry McClure at once in doses.
Well, you're a very intelligent man.
Oh, I don't know about that.
And you have a lot of information, and I'm trying to process it as we speak here. So my processing abilities is kind of going down here. But I did want to say this. When it comes to the war, do you believe that America, as my understanding, do you believe that America, well, what they're going is saying that if Putin takes over that land, he's going to take over more land. Do you believe that America needs to be able to stop what Putin's doing? And it's a two-part question. Do you think that America needs to stop what Putin's doing? And also, do you believe if America needs to have that land that Ukraine, there needs to be able to have a base on that land that Ukraine, or do we have a base on that land that Ukraine currently occupies?
So,
and I can repeat that if you couldn't.
No, I got it.
Okay, go ahead.
So let's start with, we don't really know what we got going on in Ukraine, because from what I understand, my intelligence tells me that that's where we're doing all our bio research. We have labs all over in Ukraine.
Oh, we do?
Oh, yeah. And so.
That's news to me.
Well, yeah, so that way it's not on American soil. You know, USAID was a cutout for the CIA to funnel money everywhere. And what happens is our bureaucracy has gotten so far out of control. Do you know there are Nazis still living in Ukraine? And in fact, there's a seamstress down here from Ukraine, and she can speak Russian and Ukraine.
Seamstress, okay.
Yeah, and she's here as a refugee.
Very good.
But I'm telling you, where we've gone
Yes.
You see, I look at Putin like a mafia thug.
Absolutely.
That's what he is today.
Absolutely.
But he comes from the Communist Party, and they don't operate. I'm not for communism.
Right.
But
Me
he's
neither.
but the way they operate different. It's a little different. He's become more of a czar than he has a communist leader.
Is Czar supposed to be good?
Well, czars, no, that's the royal families
Right.
that ran
So
the
what
Marxists overthrew the czars.
So did you answer the two questions? You did say.
I don't know. I'm kind of dancing a
You
little.
did. At least you're being honest. Okay. Well, maybe.
Well, no, because it's so complicated, and it's all about history, right? So look, you could say Saddam Hussein was trying to liberate Kuwait. It was his land
Okay.
before Churchill gerrymandered the Middle East.
Okay.
It's
I was kind of hear where you're going there. So let me just be plain. Do you believe that Donald? I mean, Michael Cohen had indicated that
he's a crook. He's a rotten.
Michael Cohen.
Yeah, he's a rotten man. He should be in jail.
He is in jail. So now, let me just put it like this.
No, he's not. He's got a podcast.
Who? Michael? He's out of jail now.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you believe?
Hang on a second. Hey, Ziggy, did Mike Cohen ever spend time in jail?
Okay. Now, do you believe? What do you? Can you explain to me? I guess we have some viewers. If you put this on live, there'll be viewers. Do you believe that, or tell me of the relationship that is going on between Donald and Putin right now, that you believe is going on?
He's fucking saying, stop killing people, or shit's gonna hit the fan with economic sanctions. I think that's what's going on with him. You just got to deal with him like a thug. He's a mafia thug. That's what Putin is. He's a bad guy. He's a bad actor. But you still got to deal with him. You got to talk to him.
Well, I agree with that.
Yeah. You got to talk to the thug.
I agree with that.
So it's like what I like about Donald saying, Gaza's ours now. So if you mess with Gaza, you're really messing with America. The Jews are going to give it
Gaza.
to.
I want to.
Well, I'm just talking about world affairs.
So you believe on world affairs that Donald have the best interest for America?
Yes, I do, and I'll tell you why. Because you know every whip stitch of what's going on. See, Biden didn't run the country for 4 years. It was the deep state and it was the bureaucracy.
Well, the president, does he ever run the country?
Well,
or is he just a puppet? The president.
Is Donald Trump a puppet?
That's what I don't know.
No. He's so lucky to have Elon Musk helping him. Look, at the end of the day, the president runs the show. This is where the Democrats over here, they've lost. He's being the chief executive of the country. All the departments that are under the executive branch, he's just going to run them now. Okay. And he's really kind of going back to zero-based budgeting. That's what you ought to do, Your Honor.
Now, some of the MAGA people are very upset with Trump.
Not me.
I mean,
I don't care who's upset with him.
The one that's gotten fired, I'm referring to. Some of those that have gotten fired.
Make America Great people aren't upset. That's the difference. There's Republicans that are upset with him.
Some of the people have gotten fired from the federal jobs I'm referring to.
Well, look, let me tell you something. What's going to happen? What's going to happen is there's going to be Republicans that have their fingerprints on the corruption inside the deep state. You're going to see a big changeover. You're going to see more Make America Great people in office than Republicans and Democrats.
Now, are you familiar with the Tea Party?
Yeah.
Do you feel like those are the Republicans that are in charge now?
No, I think the Tea Party are now Make America Great people.
Okay. And you believe that they have the best interest for America?
I think the Make America Great people do. I think we really do.
Yeah. Now, and this, and you know how to dance around stuff, so I'm gonna ask the question. Do you believe that the uh, the wizard of the KKK, which has supported Trump, do you believe that they?
Fuck. Well, you can't control who's likes you. I don't know. I don't know who this wizard is.
Well, so you don't know who this wizard is?
No, who is the wizard?
Well, um, there is a secret society
Started by Democrats.
that, well, it was started by Democrats. That's correct.
Okay.
But the way I understand it is, and my wife kind of educated me, and I let people educate me, kind of like you educate me, that they jump rope here with both parties. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, because it's a racial thing.
Okay.
You know.
Okay. All right. Well,
they're Jew hating.
Well, I'm still with you then.
They're against
because, like I say, I I don't know if you figured out that I can't go against my wife, or if you figured out the fact that you agree with my wife.
Well, you can't go against God, so let's
You
just
can't
start
go
there.
against the Lord. That's
Yeah,
correct.
and the Lord would not be in favor of the KKK,
That's correct.
and I don't think Donald Trump is in favor of the KKK.
Okay, but the KKK, you would agree that they're, and let's just forget about the federal level. Let's go back to the city level. That their whole synopsis is in getting in government and being and having a say with how government is ran. Do you agree that's their?
I don't know anybody in Topeka that's part of the KKK.
But do you believe that?
I don't want to believe it. You know what I mean?
Do you know who they are?
No, I don't know.
Okay, so let me just say this.
Could there be somebody in the KK here? Yeah, I bet there could be.
Let me say this then. Let me say this because there are certain things called secret societies, and they are one of the secret societies. And their whole agenda is to have some say in the government. Now, you say you don't know anything about this KKK?
No. I mean, I know all about it. I know what the root cause of the KKK is all about.
Well, do you believe that
they're not in favor of Jews and blacks?
Yeah. Do you believe they're a hatred?
I think they're a hateful group. I'm not for them.
And so
let's deport them.
So if their goal,
they should be in Gitmo.
So if their goal, okay, well maybe we'll have this on the next show then. We'll leave it there.
Okay, but I'm going to tell you something. You know what we are now? Mm-hmm. We're the news.
Yes.
We are the news now.
Yes.
It's people that deliver news like this. We're the news.
Yes, that's correct.
We're not going to. Where could we get 2 hours of talk time on Channel 13?
Yes. And I want to thank you. Like I say, if you have me back, we'll go.
What do you mean if I have you back?
Well, I want to thank you for. I want to thank you for. Help me up. I want to thank you for.
You're my friend.
I want to thank you for being able to communicate with you as we did today.
Hey, if you're going to run for mayor, I want the Holy Spirit and the energy that healed me to run through your body. Okay, and let's take it right back to the day we met. In the name of the Holy Spirit, I pray. Amen.
Amen, brother.
Amen, man.
And that's the Henry McClure. Go ahead and cut us off there.
All right, so we're going to sign off. I'm telling you, if he's going to run for mayor, we got to raise some money. And I think we need to get some people to buy signs from you and put you, because you don't want to be in the sign putting up business. I think the way to do it is to we got to get some billboards for you, and we'll use this forum. Let's bring people in here. Let's do some shows. Let's talk to people.
How much time do we have? In reference to when?
Well, I think I see. On the other hand, I think I'm gonna live 65 more years.
No, I'm saying when is the mayor's?
Next year.
Next year. Okay.
Yeah, but I'm ready for Mike Padilla to retire. It's he lives on the country club. He lives over there on Topeka Country Club. My dad was billing out in the 70s at 500 an hour.
And I don't have much time. I don't have much time. I don't know how much more time I have. But
In life?
yeah, but the time that I do have, I live for the Lord and I give to the Lord and I allow him to use me in the way that I be used because he has given me a great life.
I'm sorry.
No,
I'm always interrupting.
and he has given me a great life.
I'm sorry.
I have been able to I initially thought I would take over my father's business. However, because of the different things that happen, and I don't know who to blame for that, but he's given me my own business, and it's been a great life. I enjoy my business. Some people will be negative and say, "Well, you have a janitorial business." I started out with a carpet cleaning business. I clean buildings. I clean houses. I've cleaned houses in the past. But I was thankful because I ended up in the construction business that was not planned. But because of the glory of the Lord, he put me in the most successful construction part business. And I've been very successful. And I think that I'm a good manager because I started out poor. I started out with $5 a week, working 16 hours, 12 to 16-hour days, 6 days a week. And so I went to school. I learned technology in 1979 at MIT, and I've got a lot of haters from that. I came out, I worked at PRC. A lot of those guys hated me, Henry. And I was telling my wife another epiphany that came because those guys came out of Topeka Tech that I worked at PRC. And then, lo and behold, WIT was born right here in Topeka. You know who WIT is?
WIT?
No. Washburn Institute of Technology.
Oh, okay.
So I think that, like I said, I had a lot of haters coming up. But anyhow, I'm done.
You know, the one thing that I wanted to talk about, you know what we ought to be doing today?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
We ought to be managing the set aside money for minorities and small business people. You ought to be doing that today because that little Jewish guy they got doing it, Israel, he's just, the NGOs.
Well, I want to say that at the time that I spoke with Israel, he had very little influence.
He doesn't know what he's doing.
He had very little influence.
This is what they do.
I mean, he just do what he's told.
This is a diversity, equity, and inclusion project.
Yeah.
They give Israel a job. So,
can I eat my banana?
Yeah, you can eat your banana. So they give Israel a job today, so then he can later on be placed like Curtis Sneeden. You know, Curtis Sneeden was a really good lawyer at Payless Shoes, and then became.
Excuse me, I've got to eat this banana.
It's an energy level thing. So, and anyway, you want me to turn the show off while you eat?
Yeah, I'm done.
All right, we're gonna tune off. He needs some energy.
Thank you.
You can only take so much of Henry McClure.
He has a lot of energy.
But we'll bring up more. We got more to say.
Yes. Thank you.
And if nobody's told you they love you, I love y'all.
We love you.
Amen.